Rule 1. Control what you can. Accept what you can. First, and perhaps most important Stoic principle is focusing on what you can control. The truth is that much of life is outside of our control. You can't control the weather, other people's actions, or unforeseen events. What we can control is how we respond to those situations, our thoughts, emotions, and actions. Application in daily life: start by recognizing the difference between what is in your power and what is not. For instance, if you're stuck in traffic, you can't control the situation, but you can control your reaction. Choose to be patient or use the time to listen to an educational podcast, rather than letting frustration take over. Expanded insight. Epictetus famously said, "We cannot choose our external circumstances, but we can always choose how we respond to them." This mindset shift is liberating. It frees you from constant worry about things outside your control, allowing you to focus your energy on productive, positive actions. Real-life example. Take the case of Viktor Frankl, a psychiatrist and Holocaust survivor. He endured unimaginable suffering, yet he chose to focus on his inner freedom, the freedom to decide how to respond to his circumstances. His ability to control his internal reaction, even when faced with extreme suffering, ultimately helped him survive and find meaning in his life. Rule 2. Practice negative visualization. Of the most unusual aspects of Stoic practice is negative visualization. Rather than avoiding uncomfortable thoughts, the Stoics encourage us to envision worst-case scenarios. This isn't about being pessimistic. It's about preparing ourselves for the inevitable hardships of life so we can face them with strength and equanimity. Application in daily life. Each day, spend a few minutes imagining losing something important to your job, your health, a loved one. This practice can help you appreciate what you have and prepare your mind for the eventuality of loss. Expanded insight. By contemplating loss, you actually cultivate gratitude for what you have. You come to realize that nothing is permanent, and in doing so, you stop taking things for granted. This is a tool for emotional resilience. When you face a real challenge or loss, you've already mentally rehearsed it, making it less overwhelming. A real-life example: Marcus Aurelius the Stoic emperor was known for practicing negative visualization. He often reflected on the transitory nature of life, which helped him maintain perspective even during the most difficult times of his reign. By embracing the idea that everything is temporary, he remained composed and focused on his duties. Rule 3. The dichotomy of control. The dichotomy of control is a central tenet of Stoicism. It's the practice of recognizing what is within your control and what is not, then directing your energy toward what you can change, and letting go of the rest. Application in daily life. When you find yourself upset, pause and assess the situation. Is this something I can control? If the answer is no, release the frustration. If it's something you can change, take actionable steps toward improving the situation. Expanded insight. The Stoics understood that emotional suffering arises when we invest energy into things beyond our control. By distinguishing between the things we can change, our actions, thoughts, and reactions, and things we cannot, external events, other people's actions, we can avoid unnecessary suffering. Real-life example: take a look at modern athletes. Preparing for a race, they focus entirely on their training and their mindset. They understand that they can't control their competitors or the weather, but they can control how they prepare and perform. This focus on what is within their control allows them to perform at their best. Rule: for embrace discomfort. One of the most brutal Stoic rules is to embrace discomfort. The Stoics believe that voluntary hardship and discomfort strengthen the mind and body. Through discomfort, you build resilience and become less reliant on external comforts. Application in daily life. Incorporate small discomforts into your routine. Wake up earlier than usual, take cold showers, or fast for a day. These small acts of discipline train you to be comfortable with discomfort, making it easier to handle life's larger challenges. Expanded insight. The Stoics didn't advocate for suffering's sake. They saw discomfort as a means of building character by voluntarily exposing ourselves to discomfort. We break free from the need for constant pleasure or comfort, which ultimately makes us more adaptable and resilient. Real-life example. The Spartan warriors were famous for their harsh training. They intentionally put themselves through physical and mental suffering to build strength, discipline, and resilience. This idea of embracing hardship can be applied in modern life to help us overcome personal challenges and become more mentally tough. Rule 5. Live according to nature. Living according to nature means acting in harmony with the natural world, embracing the rhythms of life, and following the path of least resistance. It involves understanding that we are a part of the larger universe and aligning our actions with reason. Application in daily life. Simplify your life. Focus on what is essential. And in harmony with nature, healthy food, physical activity, meaningful work, and relationships. Avoid the noise and distractions of modern life that divert you from your true purpose. Expanded insight in Stoic thought. Living according to nature is about aligning with our rational nature as human beings. It's about being true to yourself, living authentically, and not getting lost in the pursuit of material things or the approval of others. When we act according to our rational nature, we find peace and purpose. Real-life example. Steve Jobs was a person who, despite his immense wealth and influence, focused on simplicity. He stripped away unnecessary distractions in his life and focused on his work, staying true to his vision. His minimalist lifestyle reflected his alignment with nature's simplicity, and it helped him build one of the most successful companies in the world. Rule 6. Stop complaining. Complaining is a form of resistance, and resistance is a direct path to suffering. Stoicism teaches us to accept what we cannot change and to focus on what we can improve. Application in daily life. When you feel the urge to complain, stop and reflect. Instead of focusing on what's wrong, think about what you can do to improve the situation. Shift your mindset from one of helplessness to one of agency. Expanded insight. Complaining drains energy and fuels negativity. It keeps you stuck in the problem rather than in the solution. The Stoic approach is to take responsibility for your situation and look for opportunities to improve, rather than lamenting what you can't control. Real-life example. Tim Ferriss, author of The 4-Hour Workweek, often speaks about the importance of taking action instead of complaining. He suggests that instead of dwelling on problems, we should focus on solutions and take small steps toward resolving them. This proactive mindset allows us to overcome obstacles more effectively. Rule 7. Detach from external validation. One of the most liberating Stoic practices is detaching from the need for external validation. The Stoics believed that true contentment comes from within and that seeking approval from others is a path to misery. Application in daily life. Stop seeking approval from others, especially from social media or superficial metrics like likes or comments. Focus on internal validation, whether you're proud of your actions and whether they align with your values. Expanded insight. When we rely on external validation, we hand over control of our happiness to others. Instead, by focusing on internal satisfaction, we reclaim our power and stop letting others dictate our self-worth. This leads to greater emotional freedom and stability. Real life example. The actor Matthew McConaughey often talks about how he stopped seeking external validation and began to live authentically. By aligning his life with his core values and focusing on what made him happy rather than seeking approval from Hollywood, he achieved both personal fulfillment and professional success. Rule 8. Focus on the present. The past is gone and the future is uncertain. The only moment you have is the present. Stoicism teaches us to focus on the present moment and live with intention, rather than getting lost in regrets or anxieties about the future. Rule 9. The power of self-discipline. Self-discipline is at the core of Stoic philosophy. It is the ability to control one's actions, emotions, and desires, even in the face of temptations or challenges. The Stoics believe that only through self-discipline can we attain virtue and live a life of purpose. It is not about repression, but rather about making conscious decisions that align with our long-term goals and values. Application in daily life. Create a disciplined routine and stick to it. even when motivation fades. For example, waking up early, exercising regularly, reading daily, or refraining from distractions like social media can build discipline. Establish clear boundaries and be consistent with your actions. Expanded insight. Self-discipline is not about depriving yourself, but making choices that honor your highest potential. It's the ability to delay gratification and not give in to momentary temptations. Whether that's skipping exercise for extra sleep or indulging in unhealthy food. Real-life example. Consider a successful entrepreneur like Elon Musk. Despite facing immense challenges, he manages to stay incredibly disciplined by structuring his day into 5-minute blocks. His dedication to his work, even when it's difficult, is a testament to the power of self-discipline. He makes consistent decisions to maintain focus and reach his ambit. Chase goals. Rule 10. Accept mortality. One of the harshest yet most powerful Stoic lessons is the acceptance of our mortality. The Stoics understood that life is fleeting and death is inevitable. Rather than fearing death, they encouraged us to accept it as a natural part of life. By acknowledging our mortality, we are motivated to live fully and with intention. It's making the most of the time we have. Application in daily life. Regularly remind yourself that life is finite. Reflect on how you would spend your time if you knew your death was imminent. This practice will help you focus on what truly matters and prevent you from wasting time on trivial matters. Expanded insight. Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic emperor, often reflected on death, reminding himself that each day is an opportunity to make his life meaningful. He used the knowledge of his own mortality to keep himself grounded in the present moment and focused on his responsibilities. In his meditations, he wrote, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think." Real life. Example, Steve Jobs, before his death, often spoke about how the awareness of death motivated him to focus on what truly mattered: his work, his legacy, and his impact on the world. He didn't waste time on things that didn't serve his purpose, and his time was deeply aligned with his values. By embracing his mortality, he was able to live a life full of intention and purpose. Rule 11. Cultivate virtue above all else. For the Stoics, virtue is the highest good. Virtue is living in accordance with reason and acting in ways that are morally excellent. The Stoics held that wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance are the core virtues that we should strive for. And living a virtuous life is the key to happiness and fulfillment. Application in daily life. Make a conscious effort to develop these 4 virtues. Wisdom. Make decisions based on reason, not emotions. Courage. Stand up for what's right, even in the face of fear or opposition. Justice. Others fairly and strive for equality. Temperance. Exercise self-control and avoid excess in all things. Expanded insight. Virtue isn't just about following a set of rules. It's about embodying these values in every aspect of your life. The Stoics believed that living a life of virtue was the only true path to happiness, because external circumstances could always change. But virtue was constant. Real-life example, Nelson Mandela exemplified the Stoic virtues throughout his life. Even after 27 years in prison, he maintained his integrity, courage, and sense of justice. He fought for the rights of his people, not out of bitterness, but out of a deep commitment to virtue and fairness. His life is a testament to the power of living virtuously, even under the most difficult circumstances. Rule 12. Don't fear failure. Failure is inevitable on the path to success. The Stoics taught that rather than fearing failure, we should embrace it as an opportunity for growth and learning. Every setback is a chance to build resilience and gain wisdom. Instead of seeing failure as a reason to quit, view it as a stepping stone toward mastery. Application in daily life. When you fail or make a mistake, don't allow yourself to dwell on the negative emotions. Instead, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? Reflect on how you can do better next time and use the failure as fuel for improvement. Expanded insight. The Stoics didn't see failure as something to avoid, but as a part of the natural process of life. They understood that to grow, you must be willing to fail, learn from your mistakes, and adjust your approach. This mindset shift helps eliminate the fear of failure, freeing you to take bold, courageous actions. Real-life example: Thomas Edison famously failed thousands of times before inventing the electric light bulb. He viewed each failure not as a defeat, but as an essential part of the journey. He is quoted saying, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." This perspective on failure allowed him to persist and ultimately revolutionize the world. Rule 13. Avoid the pursuit of pleasure. The pursuit of pleasure is one of the greatest distractions in modern society. But the Stoics taught that focusing on pleasure leads to addiction and dissatisfaction. True happiness comes not from fleeting pleasures, but from living a life of virtue and purpose. When we stop seeking pleasure as our ultimate goal, we can live a more meaningful and fulfilling life. Application in daily life. Instead of constantly seeking pleasure, focus on long-term goals and lasting fulfillment. Practice moderation in everything, including food, entertainment, and material possessions. Redirect your energy toward things that bring you purpose, such as personal growth, relationships, and meaningful work. Expanded insight. Pleasure is a transient feeling, and when it becomes the primary goal, it leads to a cycle of desire and dissatisfaction. The Stoics believed that living a life of purpose, built on virtue and wisdom, would bring lasting peace and contentment. This approach eliminates the need for constant pleasure-seeking and encourages a deeper, more fulfilling life. Real-life example: Warren Buffett, one of the wealthiest men in the world, is known for his simple lifestyle despite his immense fortune. He doesn't indulge in unnecessary luxuries, but focuses on what he values most: investing, learning, and helping others. His life shows that true happiness isn't in the pursuit of pleasure, but in living with purpose and simplicity. Rule 14. Reflect and improve daily. The Stoics believed in the importance of self-reflection. Each day they would examine their actions and thoughts, looking for areas of improvement. This practice of daily reflection is a powerful tool for personal growth and helps ensure that we remain aligned with our values and goals. Application in daily life. Set aside time each evening to reflect on your day. Ask yourself, did I act in accordance with my values today? What could I have done better? This practice allows you to identify areas for growth and make necessary adjustments. Expanded insight. Daily reflection doesn't just help you recognize mistakes. It helps you celebrate victories, no matter how small. It allows you to build momentum for continuous improvement. And by looking at your actions through the lens of Stoic virtues, you can ensure that each day is better than the last. Real-life example: Benjamin Franklin, one of the founding fathers of the United States, famously practiced daily self-reflection. He created a list of 13 virtues and focused on cultivating one virtue each week. Every evening, he would reflect on his progress and identify areas where he could improve. This discipline helped him become one of the most successful and influential figures in American history.